Representative Bill Posey.
Thank you, George. Thank each and every one of you for coming today. Let me say from up here, you are an awesome sight to see. The loss of jobs is not hard for me to understand. As many of you know, in 1969 we went through this before, and that's when I was laid off. But today I want to focus my comments on the national security aspect of what we're faced with. Why it is bad for America now and in the future if the President's promises are broken. And I'm referring to the promises to close the gap between Space Shuttle and Constellation and to keep America first. You know, when we think back in time, we know that in early mankind, security, peace was determined by who was the biggest and baddest member of the tribe, right? And then they started getting together and they had little armies, and so whoever had the biggest, baddest army determined the fate of the world as people knew it then. And then they started developing weapons, so it was whoever had the strongest swords and shields that would persevere and determine the fate. Then it was whoever controlled the seas. The seas were known as the military high ground. Back in the days when, believe it or not, Spain and Sweden were world powers because they dominated the seas with their military power. World War I, we got into mechanized artillery, and whoever could manufacture and deploy the most tanks and cannons would determine the outcome of the war. World War II was the war of the air, and whoever dominated the air, and thank God the Allies did, determined the outcome and the future of peace on Earth. Now, today, that military high ground is space. Now, you say military high ground, what does that mean? I've heard that used an awful lot. I didn't really have it strike me as much as it did until this August when I had the opportunity to visit Israel. Not on your dime, by the way. I paid my own way. And they took me to the Golan Heights. They took me to the Golan Heights, and I'd always wonder why Israel and the Palestinians fought over the Golan Heights. I mean, it is a big, ugly rock, no water, nothing grows there, nothing good, till I stepped up there and looked over the side of the mountain, across the Sea of Galilee, and on a cloudy day I could see the Mediterranean. They say in a clear day you can see Tel Aviv, you can see all of Israel. As one congressperson said, you could have made a D- in Rocket Launching 101 and hit anywhere in Israel you wanted from the top of the Golan Heights. As my father used to use the cliche, it would be like shooting fish in a barrel. Well, space is our Golan Heights. It's our military high ground, and we cannot cede it. All wars are not fought with bullets and bombs. We are now in an economic war for our lives, as most of us know. Can you imagine a day without space? Not even counting the massive unemployment. Can you imagine no GPS, no reliable weather forecast, no cell phones, no credit card processing, no bank transactions, no military intelligence? It's not a pretty picture. Is that the kind of change you want? That's why I promise to keep fighting to keep America first in space, and I know you will too. God bless you, and God bless America.
Yeah,